refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're here at the Camden Boxing Club. It's the start of fight week. Big one for you. Alexis, how are we, mate?
Yeah, very well.
Just caught up with you at the launch press conference just after JJ got back from WrestleMania. Crazy scenes. You went out there with him, made sure you acclimatised, he was ready, back, sparring within all 12 hours. From that point, how has camp been? Smoothly up until now?
Yeah, camp's been perfect. So we've got JJ, the fastest he's ever been, the strongest he's ever been, and sparring the best guys and doing the best he's ever been. So we're in the best place we can be as a fight team.
I spoke to Idris Virgo earlier. He said he's been in there with the likes of Billy Joe Saunders, he's been in the likes of Chris Eubank Jr.'s, and JJ's the hardest puncher he's ever been hit by in sparring. Is that testament to his work in the gym and what he's put in?
Yeah, it's crazy to say that, considering I got 50 pros, and I coach a lot of people. KSI is he's just a heavy-handed kid. So it's one of those things where, you know, there's a lot of hype going around, but genuinely, kid's got heavy hands. So.
Is it your job then to make sure those punches land, make sure it's positioning, to kind of make the most of that natural power?
Yeah, of course. Look, you can teach a guy how to box with a nice bounce as an amateur, and you're going to take away some of that power, right? Our job is we have a fight date, and we have an opponent, and we have to get the guy from A to B and make him as dangerous as possible. So if we want to teach KSI how to box like an amateur, like we've taken kids to the Olympics before, you're not going to have the time or the prowess to do it. But what you will do is you can make a dangerous man more dangerous. And that's what we specialise in.
How big of a step up is it from FaZe to Joe Fournier? We know Fournier's had previous in the pros, and it's a good measuring stick for JJ.
Yeah, I think it's a great step up, but it definitely won't be a step up in the fight. The step up happens in the gym. If you can't spar those type of guys, and you can't hold your own against those type of guys in the gym, then there's no chance you should ever take a fight against those type of guys. So there's a way of mothering a guy, getting a guy to a fight, or there's a way of putting them in there in the deep end and making sure they can swim, and that's what we've done.
Obviously, his last fight didn't go very long, and you say that step-ups in the gym that to make sure he's at Fournier's level, but you've got to be prepared for the distance, surely.
Of course, yeah. Look, you'll never take a horse to a race if you can't run it. So no matter what happens, he can go 6 rounds for sure. But it's all about how intellectual Joe's going to be. Is he going to sit behind a double guard? Is he going to be aggressive? We don't know what he's going to do, but ultimately we know what we're going to do, and I think that will change the dynamic of the fight.
Were you surprised about JJ's work ethic? Because he's got to be one of the busiest men in the world, and to go from filming videos with some of the biggest stars in the world, selling the biggest drink in the world, to going down your gym, putting in the spit and sawdust work.
Yeah, well, it's a testament to every champion. Anyone who wants money, wants to be successful, wants to win fights in business, in life, they're dedicated, and he's a dedicated kid. So, you know, nothing but respect to his work ethic, but you see it with champions all the time. And I'm around it all the time, so it's a pleasure for me and a privilege for me to be around, and it's lovely that his fan base get to see how hard the kid works.
Obviously, last fight January, turnaround January to May. How many more fights are you expecting for JJ this year?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get a couple more, it depends who. I mean, we've offered the Jake Paul fight for December. He didn't take it. We booked a stadium. It wasn't happening. I don't know where. It's not my choice of who we fight. Ultimately, I have an opinion on it that's valid, that goes in with the team. But ultimately, there's a big wheel that decides on how these fights go and where they go. So.
Were you disappointed that Jake didn't take that fight?
Yeah, because I know how much JJ wants it, and I think stylistically we match up really well with him, especially watching the Jake Paul fight, the Tommy Fury fight.
Do you think that Jake will get past Diaz and then potentially re-look at that fight?
Well, I don't see why you wouldn't want to re-look at that fight straight away. I think the Tommy Fury fight, considering it was a split, and people thought it was really close. I mean, I don't know what you thought, but I don't know. I didn't think it was that close. But let's say it was, I would have rematched that immediately. So maybe there is some doubt there, I don't know.
Obviously, with that Tommy Fury loss, his stock didn't really go down as much because, obviously, pro fighter. If he takes another loss, will that have damage on his name and his reputation when making that KSI fight again?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the KSI Jake Paul fight is a $100 million fight. That's what it is. It's a stadium, it's a huge fight, it's a fight that's going to happen. When they decide to do it, it's another story. But as far as we're concerned, from KSI's end, we're ready to do it.
If that fight can't be made, could Tommy Fury be a possibility?
100%. Yeah, I think, like I said, Tommy in a British title, I don't think he does very well in this country with what we've got. The talent's fantastic. But I think in this influencer space, I think he's found his space. I think he's very good and he's a formidable opponent.
Are you confident that the business could be done against Tommy, though?
100%. Yeah, I think the most important thing is to understand that we've just said that JJ's a really heavy hitter. He's a very heavy puncher. And Tommy doesn't get hit real well. But he can box nice. And he doesn't get hit with that one punch like he did with Jake Paul, but Jake doesn't move his feet. He tries to walk you onto the shot. I think stylistically it's a good looking fight. And I think it's really interesting and I think it'll be really fun and it's something that we're absolutely up for.
Last one, obviously not giving the game plan away for Saturday night, but what can fans expect from JJ?
You can expect JJ to be intense, on point, in your face and trying to take your head off. That's what he wants to do. That's his style. That's something that we have to adapt our coaching to, and we've got to make sure that he puts on the show that he wants to put on.
Thank you very much for being to IFL TV, and best of luck on Saturday night, mate.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,